Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Zen. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all, okay? Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, baby, this episode, okay, this is my review recap for Tyler Perry Sistas No Stress, Season 5, Episode 3. I don't think the name should have been No Stress, okay? I think it should have been Stress because y'all was stressing me out and y'all was annoying the hell out of me. Maybe we should have called it Annoying because the majority of these people was annoying me. Maybe excluding Danny, who else? Calvin, maybe a little bit, and I think that's it. I think that's the only ones that did annoy me because, child, I usually look forward to Zatima, but even they had their minute that they annoyed me. You know, Aaron goes back and forth with annoying me. Karen is always annoying me. Andy is annoying me with her foolishness going on with Gary, and I'm just like saying, what are we doing? Why are we here, y'all? Why are we here? What the hell is going on? And dare I say that I have actually liked the first episodes of the Oval more than I have Sisters, and that is very rare for me to say that. Okay, this is not having a strong start in my opinion so far, but nonetheless, I digress. We are gonna go ahead and get right into this, and we are gonna break it on down. So of course we pretty much picked up where we left off at with, Danny coming in here to the house. Now we gonna waste like 10 damn minutes with, Andy trying to tell Danny, oh, well, I would appreciate if you don't just, come all up in here and invade my space, right, and come into my domain and don't know what's going on and all of that. And Danny is saying, look, I still haven't heard not a daggone word from Sabrina. Like, what kind of friend are you? Have you even been trying to freaking help? She's missing and I ain't getting no damn help. You told me you was going to reach out to these contacts. So, Andy told her to give her a minute, let her go ahead and speak to Gary, and she gonna be right back. And she wasting all this time up in the room with Gary, giving him every daggone minute, right in between, saying how, he gonna have to get ready to go. And he like, really, do I have to? Okay. And she's like, yeah, some stuff going on with Sabrina. And even she had to call him out because he was like, oh, Sabrina. She was like, please don't act like you give a damn about her because you don't. We got Calvin over here asking Maurice and Chris if he heard anything about him, and he like, yo, he's locked up. He basically, done got locked up for that bank robbery. Him and Q, was in on it together, whatever. And Calvin is like, what the hell are you talking about? He was like, you mean the robbery that Q committed? He was like, he back at the damn house right now. And so Chris is like, I know you lying. Get the hell up out, out of here. He at the house. He's like, yeah. So he was like, Q basically gave him up, and he was like, what are you talking about? He was like, nah, this is not right. What jail is he at? And Chris is telling him he's at county. He said, but this is federal charges, so this is not good. And Calvin is like, you got to be kidding me. And he going to say, I told him not to mess with this dude. I said, wait, hold up, Calvin. Hold the hell up. Because, yeah, in the beginning, you told him not to mess with him. But later on, you was all over here talking about how you feel bad for him and telling Maurice to let him in the damn house, child. So, make up your mind. You can't play both sides of the damn fence. And so, he was saying he was going to go and kick him out and kick his behind. He got to get to the bottom of this. He got to see what's going on. And so Chris was like, slow down, slow down. He was like, you sure you could do that? Because I heard about you, and the damn fight you had before at that restaurant. And so Calvin like, look, I don't got time for this. And he was like, do you need my help? He's telling him, and what are you supposed to do? He was like, listen, don't let this fool you, okay? I used to play football in my boy years, all right? I got a little something I'm rolling with. So he was like, thanks for offering the backup, but I got this. And, Chris is still saying, you sure? And he was like, yeah. He was like, nah, I'm coming with you, okay? I'm not going to let you go by yourself. So they go ahead to leave to get back to, Maurice's house. Now, in the meantime, Andy's still in here kissing. I said, girl, how long you going to kiss, okay? How long are we going to kiss? Are we really forgetting everything raggedy ass Gary did? And are we really going to sit here, touching and feeling on him and kissing on him? He over here talking about something. You sure you don't want more? And she was like, no, I think I had enough for a long time. Okay, I'm taken care of. I don't need anything else. And he was like, you sure you don't want me to come back later? You don't want me to come back tomorrow? She wasting all this time cheesing in his his damn face. So then finally she like, nah, this is serious. I really do have to go out here and talk to Danny. Mind you, we could hear Danny yelling from the damn living room, and he was like, yo, how the hell does she hear us, or whatever the case may be, right? And then we get to Calvin, and he's coming in yelling for Q. And, Chris is saying, well, maybe he not here because ain't nobody answering. It's mighty quiet. I think he would have answered by now. But they go and bang at the door, and Q got the nerve to be laid up with some chick in Maurice's bed. So they like, yo, you got to get the hell up out of here. Q asking them, who do they think they talking to? He was like, I'm talking to you. I'm going to drag your ass up off this bed if you don't get up out of here. And so Q over here looking at the girl talking about, yo, you see how they disrespecting me? You see how they talking to me? And he was like, yo, get up and get out now. So they was like, come on. Now, mind you, when Q was like, close the door, this damn fool Chris over here closing the door and leaving all of them in there, together. So, Q ends up getting up to come out there with them. Now, in the meantime, Gary is finally leaving. Of course, Danny done helped herself to the bottle he bought. He talking about have fun with that. And it's like, yeah, we will. Goodbye, Gary. Okay, goodbye. And so when he leaves out, Danny is just like, so you just don't give a damn about your friends, huh? And I can say, like, even though Danny be doing the most when it comes to Preston, and I don't be understanding what is happening with them two, I got to give her credit where credit is due, that, yes, she is riding for Sabrina. She worried about Sabrina. She want to know what the hell is going on. She knows that something is not right, okay? And she's saying to Andy, have you heard from Sabrina? Have you even heard from Cameron? Oh, well, no, I'm sure they both okay. I'm sure they're both adults and they can handle themselves just fine or whatever. She was like, of course I care about my friends. So she was like, I did hit up contacts about Sabrina, whatever. She was like, oh, really, did you? And what contacts were these? And when, I'm saying, did you check to see whether they got back to you or not? Because from my calculations and the way it smell up in here, you've been going at it with damn Gary for about an hour. I said, not the way it smelled, child. So she was like, go and, check your phone. And meanwhile, Andy looking around like, oh, where's my phone? Things get disheveled and missing sometimes. She was like, yeah, girl, why don't you go check in the bedroom? And come to find out, when she checks in the bedroom, it's done been 3 missed damn calls. And she like, oh, shoot. So she trying to call the person back, but now they not answering. And she like, I'm sorry I missed your calls. Can you get back to me as soon as you can? Of course, this is stressing, Danny the hell out. And she's telling her to calm down. They're going to figure it out. They will get some type of answer and get to the bottom of it or whatever the case may be. And she was like, it's not going to be much that we going to be able to find out tonight anyway. So why don't you just go head home and relax yourself? And of course, Danny is saying there's no way that I can relax and not know what's going on. She was like, girl, she's not made for no damn jail and she would not be able to survive up any, okay? Sabrina's not cut for jail, at all. It's just not something that she gonna be able to do. And Andy's like, I know, girl, okay, I know. So in the meantime, we get back to, Calvin and them or whatever. And they're like, Chris over here talking about, I can't believe this. He's in my sister's bed. He's going to die. He's going to die. He's going to die. He was like, he up in there and got the nerve to be in there with a woman. So Q come walking out and was like, what is it? And, when Calvin starts talking, he like, whoa, you going to watch your tone and watch your voice. And Calvin like, who the hell you think you talking to? He was like, maybe I need to let you know. And so Chris is trying to intervene and he telling him not mind his business. So he was like, look, did you set Maurice up and here go Q? No, I didn't set him up. I didn't put him in jail. They was like, well, who mentioned jail? They was like, how stupid could you be? You telling on yourself right now. And Chris was like, yeah, he's not very smart. So he was like, who said anything about jail, And so Q over here talking about, well, is he? So he was like, listen, I want you to get all your shit and get up out of here now. He talking about some, no, I ain't going nowhere. Calvin was like, what? Excuse me? He was like, who you think you playing with, right? And Calvin kills me because he over here, don't make me kick your ass, okay? One thing about Calvin, he gonna fight whether he getting his butt kicked or not. I respect it to a certain degree, Calvin, but, I need you to learn how to do a little 1-2, 1-2, or at least bob and weave, child, so all those punches don't land. So, Calvin hauled off and hit him, and then freaking Q start beating the hell out of him, okay? Then he kind of got the upper hand and was able to push Q back and throw him into the daggone refrigerator. Chris back here talking about, ooh, 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 get him, yes, get him, Calvin, your elbow, Calvin, and this and that, get him, yes. And the next thing you know, Q flip him over and he was punching the hell out of him again. I said, ooh, okay. And mind you, the music they was playing, I said, Tyler, now you know daggone well, right? And eventually Chris had to jump on top of him and be like, stop, 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 no more fighting, you know what I'm saying, stop it, cut it out, right? And he was just like still saying to him, you gonna get the hell up out of here. You know, Chris talking about, y'all taking my breath away. Q talking about what's wrong with you. And he was like, you know, I'm gonna get your ass, all right? I'm gonna find out what you did because you over here, you know, setting him up and all of that. And so he gonna talk about something, yo, I ain't going nowhere. I'm about to chill right back in here with this bitch and keep the bed warm and all this other stuff. And Chris is telling him, you should go. So now, of course, he still don't go nowhere, and they end up leaving him there. You know, when Chris was saying, should we call the police? You know, Calvin want to get cute talking about some, what? That's that white people shit that y'all white people do. He was like, aren't both your dads white? And he's like, yeah, that's besides the point, okay? And they go to leave because he was like, you know, I'm going to handle this shit. I said, well, what are you going to do, Calvin? I'm confused. I don't understand what you're doing. But, you know, I do appreciate him trying to at least make an attempt to have Maurice back, okay? And so, you know, Chris over here talking about something, I need a shower. I done got sweaty from all of this, all right? In the meantime, Danny's still waiting for Andy to make these phone calls. And, you know, finally she's able to give them Sabrina's name. She's taking down some notes. She's like, you know, let me write this down. And she's asking, you know, federal, like, what do you mean federal? And she's like, and who? Wait, let me write that down too, you know. And we seeing Danny just throwing down these shots as she's saying this and as she writing the stuff down. So she's like, thank you. So when she hang up the phone, you know, she's telling Danny, like, this is not good, Danny, okay? This is worse than we could have been freaking expected. And Danny, like, okay, spill it. What is going on, girl? You know, tell me. She was like, yes, she was arrested or whatever. And Danny's like, you got to be kidding me. She was like, no, I'm not. She said, and on top of that, it's federal, so it's nothing we could do. We cannot get up in there. You know, she talking about some, let's go get her out. She was like, wait, Danny, it's not that simple. She was like, that's not how it works. And so she was like, what are you saying? She said, this is a federal crime, and she hasn't even seen the judge yet, so there's literally nothing that we could do but wait. And she was like, what does that mean? I don't understand. I don't know what the hell you talking about. And she was like, it means that we can't do nothing tonight. We're not going to be able to figure out something till the morning. And she was like, girl, we can't just leave her in there. Are you crazy? You know, that's what Danny is saying to Andy. Like, I'm not leaving her there. And she was like, what the hell does all this mean, Andy? So Andy was telling her, I'm not a criminal attorney, and on top of that, this is a federal case. Okay, I'm a divorce attorney. So Danny was like, this is some bullshit. And she was like, I know. She was like, I know that this is horrible. All we could do is let her know that we are here for her. You know, you got to go home and you got to get some rest until we can figure this out. And so Danny was like, how the hell am I supposed to rest? She was like, I'm going to call his ass, basically talking about the cop. And so Andy was like, hell no, don't do that. That would just make things worse. She was like, absolutely not. Do not talk to him, because anything that you say could basically be used to incriminate her and make the situation worse than what it already is. So don't even think about it, okay? Stay the hell away from him. And she was like, this is very serious. So Danny's like, shit. You know, she's telling her this is some high level stuff. She was like, look, I'm going to have to, you know, look for a lawyer or whatever. But in the meantime, even though I don't practice that law, I am a lawyer and I do at least know the basis of it. So she was like, we're going to have to relax and we're going to have to chill. You know, nothing else that we could do right now. And of course, Danny is not trying to hear that. You know, she's worried about her girl, as she should be. She was like, you know, either you could go home and go to sleep, or you could stay here with me and sleep or whatever, right? You could lay in the bed with me. She said, girl, no, I don't know what the hell y'all been in, what y'all be doing. I ain't trying to stay here. You know, I'm going to go head home. So she, you know, Andy at first was saying, I'm sure it's some corners of the house that we haven't hit. But she was like, girl, no, I ain't trying to figure out which ones you hit and which ones you didn't. And so in the meantime, you know, she got had to leave to go home or whatever the case may be. And, you know, we have them just like, we have Zach and Fatima working out in the gym, right? I'm sorry, they didn't even get to the gym yet. My bad, y'all. They was at the house, and Fatima was still upset, of course, about Karen calling the house and cursing her out or whatever, with her being in the hospital. And so I was like, okay, he was asking her, does she still want to talk about what happened last night? And she like, nope, I done woke up, meditated, said my prayers. I'm in a new space. I'm asking God to guide me. She was like, trust me, I'm trying my best not to get on her ass. So I gotta kind of, relax, relate, release or whatever, and center myself and put myself in a good space so that I do not have to, go there with her. He told her that he went there last night to try to handle the situation. And he was like, sometimes you be trying to want to avoid things and not talk about it no more when you feel like it. But then when you do want to talk about what we supposed to talk about, and she was like, no, I'm just trying to have a good day today. And she was like, let me explain something to you. Like, my grandmother raised me. And he was like, yeah, I know you told me about that. She was like, yeah, but the part that I didn't tell you is that I grew up with a really rough family. Like, I got some people in it don't play. I got this one particular cousin that basically wanted me to go into the life with her, and it would have been real easy for me to do. And I didn't, I chose to go a different route because I be trying not to bring that person out of me. And I could call her up for Karen ass or anybody else ass. Okay, I actually called her for, to handle the situation with Hayden, and she spared him. So he was like, well, why the hell would you want to spare, Hayden anyway? And she looking at him like he crazy. So he was like, oh, now it's making sense. That's where those guys came from, and that's why you be saying that. And he was like, that's why you could rock with me the way that you do, because you pretty much, already have that background. So me going to jail and me having a thing with the stocks and all that different kind of stuff, just basically wouldn't scare you off. And she was like, yeah, that's a piece of it. And of course, her cousin that she is talking about is none other than, Miss Madam Child, okay, from, or the Queen's Minch. Okay, so I said, oh, we gonna have her come in to pay a visit. So she's just like saying, trust me, you don't want no parts of that. And he's like, oh, I would like to meet your family because there might be some favors I need to call in, some people that I want them to take down or whatever. So I'm like, Zach is stupid, right? So, at first, when she's saying she gonna go work out and then go to work, he was telling her he was gonna meet her at the gym. And she was like, nah, I don't need you to do that. And he was like, nah, for real. She was like, yeah, but you need to go ahead, and wash up and take care of your breath and all that other stuff before you do, because, you're doing a little bit much right now, okay? And then you can meet me there. So he was like, for real, is that bad? And she was like, yeah. So she went, to go there or whatever. And then he had met her at, the gym, and for them to basically work out. And of course, who come walking up in there like she's literally stalking them, but Miss Damn Deja talking about, oh, Fatima, you looking good. Oh, well, girl, you can't hear me because you got your headphones on. And then she want to come over to Zach telling him how good he looked and talking about her damn toilet broke. I said, girl, Deja, bye, okay? Every time you turn around, you saying something broke in your damn house. And of course, Fatima's looking at her, with the side eye. So, as Danny is trying to get herself together, she gets a call from Hayden that's saying, Preston, that's saying, can she meet him for dinner? She was like, boy, I thought you said you left. He talking about something I did, but I could be back and be ready for tonight or whatever. If you're willing to meet up with me, I really still want to talk to you and have a conversation. And she lets him know, like, right now I'm dealing with something, Preston, okay? I don't have time to talk with you. I got some things that's going on. And he's basically like, is there anything that I could help you with? And she's like, nah, it's really not, okay? It's nothing that you could do, because mind you, he had calls on the other line when she was on with Calvin, and Calvin confirmed that Maurice was in jail and let her know that Q had set them up. And she's like, what? She was like, oh my God. So then he was saying he had $20,000 that he could put up, and just in case they need bail and get them out of there. Danny crazy ass. I said, Danny, don't do that. She over here talking about, well, bring that $20,000 then. Okay, that sounds good to me. She was like, bring it right over, meet up with me. Oh, okay, you got it, that really? Oh, okay, yeah. So that'll work. That could do something, bring it to me in cash. So he over here like, okay, where do you want me to meet you at? And she's saying, that's perfect, that's real good. But when he was like, where do you want me to meet you at? She was like, child, I was going to take your money, okay? I was surprised she admitted it. So he was like, Danny, this isn't the time for that. And she was like, I know, I'm sorry, my nerves is bad. She was like, Andy's on her way now. And so that's when the line clicked, and it was, Preston, and she basically was telling him, she was getting another call. So he was like, all right, take care of your business. And, she hung up and, of course, goes to Preston for him to talk about this damn dinner date that he want to have. I said, child, Preston, I wish you would make up your mind, and I hate the way that they are sending this daggone, character down this road. Another annoying moment, all right? But nonetheless, she told him she had to go ahead and talk to him later because she was like, I can't deal with this right now. I got this other situation going on. And he was still talking, and she had already hung up the daggone phone. So then we get, Karen waking up. She looking rejuvenated and refreshed. She say good morning to her mother. Her mother here making, some breakfast, bringing her over some tea. She talking about, I really feel like I could use a drink. She was like, well, too bad for you. You know that that's not something you could do. And so Karen was saying how she had a dream that Zach had came by. She was like, girl, no, that wasn't that wasn't a dream. He actually did come by, and I sent him away. And she was like, oh, well, thank you for that. And she was like, yeah, do you really feel that way? Like, do you really want to move on? And are you really happy that, he left? And so she was like, I just don't know what it is. And she said, yeah, well, is this even really his baby? And this is, I think, the second time that Karen has actually admitted, like, I really don't know, to be honest with you, right? But her mom picked up on it, of course, quick, fast, and in a hurry, and was saying, but you want it to be his. You basically feel more for him. She was like, so I'm assuming it's between him and the accountant. And she was like, Ma, he's not no accountant. She was like, well, it's accountant / preacher, reverend, whatever the heck he's supposed to be. And she was like, isn't that, against the law? I mean, against the Bible too, right? And, his faith and his religion, that he not supposed to be out here having sex. She was like, so let me get this drink, straight. He don't mind having a drink, but, he could go ahead and get it on. And so she was like, yeah, Mom, that's a part of it too, or whatever, it is what it is. And she was saying that Aaron is a good man, and he's special and nice, and makes her feel good and all of that good stuff, right? But it, of course, is not the same as it is with Zach. The feelings is just not the same. And her mother was telling her, like, you take after me, we are a lot alike. I like the bad boys too. No, matter of fact, Karen was like, why we always gotta like bad boys? And her mother was like, now, I wouldn't go that far, okay? We ain't gonna be comparing Zach to no bad boy. He ain't the real bad boy. He ain't the bad boys that I ride with. And so Karen was like, you mean your biker guys? And she was like, yeah, honey. And not only that, the younger they get, the better. I said, wait a minute, Mama. Wait a minute. What we talking about here, And Karen was like, Mama, okay. Like, this supposed to be about me. Let's stay on topic right now, okay? Because she looked like she was having some flashbacks to some good memories. And so, basically she was just saying how bad she really want to let him go, and she just want to be over him and just have them, communicate and be able to take care of this baby together and have him do the right thing by this baby and move on. But she was like, well, do you know 100% that this is his baby? Because that might not be the case, and then what you gotta do then, you know what I mean? And so she did say to her mother, like, honestly, sometimes I don't know no more, but girl, we got ways to figure that out. We sure enough do, all right? And why we gonna take forever and a day to figure that part out, only God knows. But, she was like, bottom line, how do you feel about having both of them coming over and having a conversation with both of them at the same time? She was like, I don't know about all that, Mama. Like, that might be a bit much. She was like, I think it would do a lot better for you than you would think. Like, hear me out. So she tells her something about writing it down on, a letter for Aaron, a letter for Zach, and telling both of them how she feels, spilling all the tea to them, and then reading the letters to them. I say, yeah, that is a bit much. It's one thing to have a meeting and talk things out. It's another thing to even maybe give them both the letters separately. But to sit there and read it to both of them, child, I don't know about all that, Mama. Like, I get your intentions and your point, but that might be a bit much. And she was telling her, to think about it or whatever. She was like, how it is where sometimes you talking to somebody and you'll forget some of the stuff that you wanted to say and be like, oh, dag, I meant to say this, I meant to say that or whatever, right? And you forget, and that is true too. That is definitely realistic. That does happen. But again, I just don't know how I would feel about, reading it to both of them or whatever. And then, I was laughing when her mother was like, trust me, child, Zach has many things, but he ain't no damn bad boy. And she was like, well, I mean, he been in jail, he cheats. She said, yeah, that's those things too, but he ain't a real bad boy, okay? He ain't messing with the real Don Dadas, okay? So I thought that was funny. And she was just like, my boys, now those are some bad boys. But I was like, I don't know, she's basically was like, we pretty much have a good relationship. We keep it honest with each other. We keep it real with each other. And she was like, as somebody that's been there and did that, that was her advice to Karen. And she just was like, think about it, hear me out, or whatever the case may be, right? And so she was like, it could probably make a big difference to you, make you feel a lot better, and have things be a lot clearer to them. So I'm like, okay, I don't know, but Karen overall does at least seem like she listened to her mother and taking in her advice and not being all crazy and wild and, angry and ready to curse her out like she do everybody else. So if this is something that can make her behind calm down, then I'm all for it, right? And she was like, she just want to be stress free, and she was asking, can she eat now? And her mother was like, sure. So now in the meantime, we got Angie on the phone this first thing in the morning. She's like, you have all the information that I need, and, just trying to get everything. And she's like, wow, that's serious. And she's like, no, thanks a lot. So Danny, of course, gets there not too long after her getting this information. And she's like, girl, it's not good. Okay, it's not good at all. She was like, this is some real serious stuff. I need you not to panic though, Danny. I need you to stay calm. So Danny like, what is it, Andy? You are killing me, okay? Just tell me. And she was like, she's been charged, okay? They charged her, and she has still not seen the judge or whatever. And we can't go in to see her. We cannot do anything right now. No one could go in to see her. And so Danny was like, how is that even legal? And she was like, the only other thing I could do is hit up my boss, Robin, at this point, and he's in London and he's in court, so I have to wait. And so Danny's basically like, okay. And she was like, can you just, and before she could even finish, Andy's like, I'm gonna call him, girl. And then Danny's like, girl, this is crazy. She was like, Sabrina's not made for jail. She is not gonna be able to function like this. She was like, I'm so sick to my stomach, I can't even smoke. All I'm doing is thinking about her, and I need some answers. And so Andy was like, well, tell me everything you know or whatever, because this is crazy. And so, she started telling her, like, apparently this guy Q that Maurice was messing with, freaking, basically robbed them and then ended up staying at his house and set them up and all of this. So Andy was like, this is crazy. And she was like, I don't know that there's anything that I can do. She was like, I've made at least 100 calls or whatever the case may be. And, we just have to be patient and we have to wait. That's really all we can do. And, Danny was saying that this feels wrong. And she was like, I know. She was like, but she gonna be okay. She didn't commit this crime. We know she didn't commit it. And Danny's like, yeah, but she's still in jail. So what good is that doing her at this point? And so she was like, there's another part that I have to tell you, Danny. And Danny is like, what is it? What else is it, Andy? Go ahead and spill it. She was like, they have Maurice on tape confessing. And so she was like, oh, hell no. Like, I know you freaking bugging. She was like, Maurice was in on this. And she was like, I don't know. She was like, the contact was only able to tell me that. So Danny was like, nah, this some bullshit. Like, I don't believe that. And she was like, well, I will let you know anything that I find out as, I find it out. She was like, come on, let's just go to work. That's all we could do. And do not call that cop, whatever you do. So Danny was like, okay. So, they get their stuff to go ahead and head out. So now we get, to Zach, of course, and back at this daggone, Jim, Deja behind coming in, want to tell him that her damn toilet is messed up. And Fatima was basically over it. She came up on her like, why the hell is there always something that's messed up in your house? She was like, yeah, me and him gonna come check it out because we gonna make sure that you not over there breaking stuff to get him to come. And let's not act like you would not do that because we know that you would, because we know that on the team her behind had messed up the damn car to try to get his attention. And so she's like, oh no, I wouldn't do that. And I don't know why that's happening. You have to ask the person that was living there before me. I'm saying, girl, aren't you the first person that's living there? So cut it out. But she was just telling her, like, we will both be over there. Of course, Zach is telling her to calm down. So in the meantime, we got Aaron coming up to him like, oh, I'm so glad I'm bumping into you. I was going to ask Gary for your number. I wanted to talk to you. And then Zach talking about, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Ain't no reason for you to do that. And he's saying, don't do that, as far as, Aaron even saying hello to Fatima and stuff like that. And I'm just a little confused as to why Zach is so hyped up and animated every time Aaron came around. Like, I don't understand what Aaron has ever did to you personally, besides the fact that y'all both damn slept with Cat. Karen and you didn't want her no more anyway, and you're with Fatima, so why is that making you upset? And from Aaron's perspective, I don't know why you're feeling like you need to have a conversation with Zach. You really don't have to. He's telling them about her being in the hospital and her being high risk and her needing rest. And they're like, yeah, we know about all of that. We already got the call. He's like, she keep calling me every minute. She keep calling my daggone girl and all of this kind of stuff. He was like, she's stressing her own self out. And with that part, Zach is not lying. She has been stressing her own self out. He's like, I'm not the one that's stressing her, because Aaron going to talk about we both need to stop trying to, stress her or stressing her, whatever, right? And let her rest as much as she can. I said, Aaron, you need to tell yourself that, because when they was telling you to back your ass off, you didn't, and you still forced yourself, through and came to the damn hospital when nobody told you to, and Karen had to curse your ass out to get you to leave. So, it's like, I don't understand what neither one of y'all doing right now, to be honest. And then, Fatima was the one being calm in between and kind of being like, it's okay, Aaron, obviously you feel like that's important, what you gotta say. And at first he was saying, like, can him and Zach speak, alone. And he was like, anything you gotta say, you could say in front of my girl or whatever. But he was just being so extra and hostile, and it was coming off a little corny in my damn opinion, okay? And so here we go. This leads to Fatima starting to feel insecure and get mad and be like, wait a minute, do you still got feelings for Karen? Because why are you going so hard towards him? Because, Aaron was saying, I don't mean no disrespect, I don't mean no harm. He was like, I'm not trying to, come at you any kind of way. He was like, we have played basketball together. Zach talking about oh no, we don't play basketball together, we don't rock like that, don't do that, don't say that, we just have been on the same basketball court at the same time. And he was like, I wouldn't want to be around you like that, because people seem to die around you. And Aaron was like, really? I guess, basically bringing up his, ex-wife and the fact of what she did to herself. And I was like, whoa, Zach, like that was a damn low blow. And so Aaron was like, all right, say no more. He like, y'all go ahead, have a good day, do what y'all doing. And he was like, thank y'all for your time, and bye to Fatima. And so Zach still going, don't do that, don't do that, don't talk to her, and Zach talking about, yeah, because people seem to like, die around you or whatever. You seem to be a casualty. I'm just speaking facts or whatever the case may be. And I didn't understand why he was being so daggone aggressive either, to be honest. But at the same time, I didn't understand why Aaron was even bothering coming up to him to have this so-called conversation. And so Zach was just telling him, like, at the end of the day, if it's mine, I'm going to do what I got to do, and that has nothing to do with you. So now you got, Fatima saying, like, what is the problem? Why was you coming so hard at him? Like, is there still feelings there for Karen? Do you still want her? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, no, I don't want her. I told you I moved on with that. He was like, of course, I'm always going to care about her, whatever, but I don't want her in that way. And he was like, are we going to really continuously do all of this every single time? It's like, we have breakfast. Do you still love Karen? We have lunch. Do you still love Karen? Like, when are we gonna move on from this? And she basically was saying, like, this is the same situation that she was in with her ex or whatever. And she was like, if you really don't have no feelings for nobody no more, then hearing about them or having somebody come up, whatever, should not be getting you that upset, and it shouldn't change your whole mood like that. And he was like, oh, that's funny you say that, because when you seen your ex, I seen a change in you. She gonna talk about something that's different. I said, well, really, Fatima, is not when we really being, but she was like, the point being, when I'm done, I'm done. And that's it. That's all, folks, is a wrap. So she was like, you are making me feel the same way that my ex made me feel, and I have to be able to speak on that and tell you how I feel. And I also have to know, what's going on with you. Like, if I feel a certain way, I'm going to question you about it. You can't cut me off, and you got to be able to let me communicate. So at this point, they both yelling at each other like, so what does that mean? And what we going to do? And what's up with it then? Because, that's the end of that. And so she was like, and what you mean? What we going to do? That's the end of it. And what's up with it? Like, you tell me, because at the end of the day, at this point, she supposed to have this ring on her finger, and he's saying that, they got to be able to trust each other and all of that. But they pretty much do the same thing, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this is why I was saying that they did not need to get married right now. Like, I love them to death. I root for Fatima every day, all day. But they definitely don't need to be talking about no marriage. They got a whole lot of other stuff they need to work out before they get to that point, in my opinion. Zach keep talking about what he doing or what did he do, being all clueless about it. as if he don't see how he just literally was going off in front of his new fiance about his supposed ex-girl who just so happens to still be pregnant with his baby. Like, even when you say that shit out loud, it sounds crazy, right? And so they going back and forth, and he was like, that's not the energy I remember when you ran into old boy and all of that. And like I said, she was saying when she done, she done. So she was like, she could have did whatever with her ex, but she never did. And he was like, well, I don't either. I'm over him, Karen. Like, let me say it one last time and be very clear with you. And so she was saying, you making me feel like my ex did. And he was saying, I'm not your ex though, so you shouldn't be comparing it, I'm saying, to me. So she was like, no, when I got stuff to say, I'm going to say it. I don't give a damn if it's 1,000 times. If it's 1,000 times, we're going to go over it. Like, we can't stop just because it's uncomfortable shit. And I get her when she's saying with that too, but then it's like now she taking it to the next level and being mad extra with it. So he was like, can I just please finish my damn workout? And he makes a mistake and was like, Karen, called Fatima Karen, like, why you want to do that? She was like, oh, I know you didn't just. She was like, oh, so like I said, you should just go ahead and do what you got to do or whatever the case may be. Right now, of course, she's even more pissed or whatever. And he was like, what are we even doing here? What are we even doing here? We just keep repeating these same things over and over and over, And so once he called her Karen, I said, damn, Zach, okay, your behind is back in the doghouse. Messed up, okay, because he was like, I'm tired of just doing this shit. And she had kept saying, you're still in love with her, you are. And he was like, no, I'm not. And he was like, are we really doing this? Are we really doing this? And she was like, doing what? And he was like, you know what, doing this. And then that's when he said, you know what, Karen? And I said, Zach, 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 Zach. And then he was like, I mean, Fatima. She was like, what you said to me? He was like, oh, God, that's not what I meant. And basically that was how the episode went off. I said, child, y'all running my blood pressure for real. Y'all running my blood pressure. I need something to happen. I need something to change. This is not doing it for me, But y'all put it in the comments. Do y'all think that we are ever going to have Sabrina and Maurice out of jail? Because at the rate things is going, honestly, I feel like they will be in there to the end of the damn season. I don't see them coming out no time soon. Not to mention that I can't even think of her name, but the girl that plays Sabrina is actually booked and busy doing other shows. So I figured, the scheduling probably was conflict, and that's another reason why her behind ain't up here now. But y'all put it in the comments. Tell me what y'all thinking about this so far. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. Till next time, y'all.